All right, so we're looking at this one, and it says Yarra Grove High School is concerned that some students are missing math classes to play golf and their grades may be suffering as a result. The percentage of maths classes attended and the final maths result and of a percentage is recorded for 25 students. So what I'm saying with this one is it's really important that you do 25 because obviously you've got your lists over here to pop in eventually. And when you do that, it's good when you know that like n is 25. You know you should be on row 25 once you put your data in. Good way to know you have entered it in right or wrong. Now, the first question down here of this thing is they're saying the least squares line is to be fitted, and so that that predictions about the student's final grade can be made. So that's the first thing I want to talk about is when they say the prediction about students' final grade. So remember we said the word prediction is a way to indicate what the RV is. So if you weren't sure, because they're saying they're going to predict the final grade, you know that that's RV, and therefore the other one, attendance, is EV, which is your X and your Y. But they have a scatter plot there, so you could have worked it out, but maybe in your SAC you won't get that. So they've given us the equation and they want me to draw it on that scatter plot. So I've put it on the next page. So I've got it here in a bigger version to help us. Okay, so when we've got to draw the line of the equation on the scatter plot, what you need to do is you pick two values on the x-axis or the explanatory. So I'm just going to pick 20 and I pick 80. It doesn't matter which two you pick, you will all end up producing the same line, okay? So I'm going to do 20 and 80. And what you do is you pop that into that formula. So when attendance is 20, I'm going to find out what the final grade is. So 858 times 20. And when I do that, I end up with, I'm just going to round to a whole number, 29. So what I'm going to do is I mark that point on the graph. So when X is 20, Y is 29. So along here, 29 to be about there, I'm going to put a cross, okay? Now I'm going to do that again, but this time I'm going to use the 80 in the formula. So I'm picking 2 points, doesn't matter which two you pick, but these are the two I'm picking today. And I do 80 and I end up with 81. So then on when X is 80, I'm going to go along and put where 81 is. So it's about roughly there. Once you've got your 2 points, like 2 crosses there, then you just get your ruler and you line them up and you draw a line through your crosses like that. And there you've produced the regression line on the scatter plot, okay? So it doesn't matter where you put your marks. Had you done, if you had chosen, say 60, it means you would have ended up with a cross there, yeah? It'll end up in the going through the same line, okay? So that's how you draw the line or the regression line on the scatter plot. Okay, so the next question is use the equation, the least line equation, to predict. So when you're predicting, you should always be using the equation anyway. A student who attends 54% of the maths class. So when you're doing that, you're just simply using the formula, which I've dumped here so we can see it. So the final grade will equal, this is a prediction, so when you use the equation, you're making a prediction. And we go times 54, and it says to 1 decimal place, so I get 58.3, and it was, final grade was a percentage, okay? So they get 58.3. With the next question, and I'm like getting asked this a lot, like this seems to be happening, this question is asked a lot and everyone keeps forgetting. When it says determine the residual, as soon as you know, that's what they're asking you. They're asking you to work out the residual. Write the formula for residual. So residual equals actual minus predicted. Now we know we just did the predicted. we know when we're getting the predicted, we use the equation. So for this one, I'm just going to write that equation there straight off because we just did that. So I'm like, yep, I'm going to use that. But this time, it's 25%. So that will be that part. Now, to find where the actual is. So the actual can be found in a few places. One, it could be the dot on the graph. You could find it there. The second spot, you could find it, could be in the table of values. So maybe they might give you both these options. They might only ever give you one, or it could be given to you. So if you have a look, we're looking for when the EV is 25. We want to see what actually happens. So over here in the table of values, I found where it said 25. And so here is its actual. It actually was 40. So a kid who had 25% actually had 40. So there, I can pop that into the formula. If I just go back, all right, so then what I want you to do, you should just do this whole little equation like that on the calculator. Try to do it all in one go. So when you do that, we end up, and it said residual 1 decimal place, so I end up with 6.6. So that's you finding one individual residual. Because we know when we have the residual plot, we have all of them, but this is when you're asked to find one individual, you do it like that.